I don't see it on YouTube. I don't see it on YouTube. Oh, okay. I got it. Awesome. Testing. Oh, very nice. Awesome. Hey, Luke.
Hello, Luke.
Yo. I think Ash should be joining in 2 minutes, so don't worry, guys.
Sure.
Awesome. Wait, Tiger, are we able to show like the profile pictures?
Yo. I think Ash should be joining.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought we were able to see like oh shit. Can you take from the profile X?
Hey, the YouTube, like, are you guys showing anything or just audio? Got it. Okay, because now the YouTube is just a plain picture, right? So
Your Tigers, can you check the DM on Telegram?
token. I sent his message. I thought I sent a message to him already. Shit.
Hey Luke, is Ash coming anytime soon?
Yep. I just pinged him.
Gotcha. We have around 126 people watching right now. I'm expecting 150. Hey Ash, nice meeting you.
Hey, GM.
GM. Yep, so sorry, we're trying to set things up. Give us another minute or two.
All right. So basically, we have a bunch of like KOLs and NFT folks watching the live stream, and then we're just gonna chat on this Google Meets call.
Hello, Ash.
Hi.
Hello. I open a bit. Hello. Long time no see.
Hi. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you again. Thank you for
You
being
have
here.
you have a different hair color or hairstyle.
Yeah, I think so. From New York. Long time no
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, same here. Okay, so and also Kayak is here attending the AMA.
Hello. Hello.
Hi. What's the official collection called? The name?
MofuMofu.
MofuMofu. Okay.
Okay. Hi, I think we're all good.
Yep, just give us another minute. I'm just trying to switch on the cam here. 1 minute. Right, 137 people watching right now. I guess we can start here. Screen's gonna switch up to the cam here so everyone can see Asher. But yeah, happy to have you here, Ash and Jen.
Hello.
Yep.
Jimofu.
GM. Jimofu.
Yeah.
Jimofu.
Yeah. Welcome again. This is a private AMA aims to unveil the story behind Mofu MMMC. It's a culturally driven NFT IP built in partnership with Toho and backed by Aptos Foundation. So we'd like to share exclusive insights into the collaboration, future roadmap, and how our tier one partners can stay at the curve. But before that, I believe the main director from Toho would like to share some comments because he couldn't make it to the AMA today. So then I'll let this to you.
Sure. So we actually bring the comment from the head of Toho Animation, who's called Otakeji, and Kayaki will read the original comment for us, and I'm gonna translate it. Kayaki、今小田さんのコメントを先に読んでもらうことで大丈夫ですか？お願いします。
はい、大丈夫です。少々お待ちください。
はい。
ちょっと今日、別の重要な案件があって参加できず申し訳ございません。東宝にとって Web3 は正直まだ未知の領域です。だからこそ今こそチャレンジすべきだと考えています。どうしますか？通訳から挟みますか？
Hi. So sorry for have other stuff that couldn't be here. And at Toho, we think Web3 remains largely uncharted territory, and yeah, so that's exactly why we believe now it's the right time to embrace the challenge. カイキどうぞ。
もしこのモフモフミュージックキャラバンという最初のコンテンツが成功すれば、Web3 という新しいフィールドで、このコンテンツに限らず様々な挑戦を続けていきたいと思っております。
So if MofuMofu Music Caravan proves successful, we hope to continue exploring new possibilities in the Web3 space.
モフモフも Web3 コミュニティの皆様からご支持いただければ、アニメ化をはじめとする多様なフランチャイズ展開が可能になると信じています。
So with the support of the Web3 community, we truly believe MofuMofu could evolve into something much bigger, potentially even an anime and beyond.
ぜひ皆様の温かいご支援をよろしくお願いいたします。大竹英二。
We will be deeply grateful for your warm support and the warm support for MofuMofu Music Caravan as a project from Oda Keiji, the head of Toho Animation. これで全部だよね。大丈夫ですか？
はい、以上です。
はい、ありがとうございます。Yeah, that's all.
Awesome,
Back to
awesome.
Kai.
Thank you. Yeah, I believe we haven't done a proper introduction yet. I believe everyone here would like to know who you are and what you do, where you're from. And let's start with Ash from Aptos.
MofuMofu. I am Ash from the Aptos Foundation. I'm the head of ecosystem. And our job, which Luke is on my team as well, is to make sure users, founders, investors are all living in perfect harmony on the world's best blockchain.
Awesome. How about Luke?
Yeah, I'm also part of the ecosystem team, and I guess I work very closely with MofuMofu and a lot of the NFT communities on Aptos as well. Yeah, it's been a joy working with MofuMofu. I think they're a really big project, and I think they have the chance of being the only project that really breaks through the barriers that we've seen so far and to really scale IP beyond what we've seen in the market as of now. So really, really very excited. I think they're going to launch at the end of the month. We're working very closely with them, and I think the potential is endless there.
Awesome. And back to the main character today. Jen?
Yeah, this is Jen. I'm the outsourcing producer from Toho as well as founder of SoSweet. So the MofuMofu Music Caravan is an IP project based by Toho and SoSweet as the first ever Web3 IP from Toho, and we are not just doing IP but also building the co-creation IP using the leveraging the Web3 community. So I guess I'm also the founder of the Web3 part, taking charge of like the communication collaboration with like decent partners such as Aptos and many others. So we're here like before I was like working as a Web2 producer as well as this time we say like Web3 IP producer. So we're really looking into the future of IP building with this like technology, also the culture, and we gonna like bring to the next stage of how big IP holders such as Toho can build in this kind of like industry with every single individual in Web3 industry, and looking forward to talk more about like our vision and stuffs. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And just for your reference, we have almost 150 people watching the stream at the moment. And this is a private AMA, by the way. We have the KOLs, builders, founders from all over the chains, very curious, they're working on different chains and suddenly, hey, Aptos is inviting them to a private AMA. So Ash, to kick things off, how's the Aptos ecosystem doing lately? Like, what are some things you're seeing in the background that the builders or communities that might not be aware of but should be excited about?
It's a great question, and welcome everybody. It's I can't see you, but it's nice to know you're all here. The Aptos ecosystem right now is starting an accelerated growth period. Since its origin at Facebook, the Aptos blockchain itself was meant to be the most performant blockchain to power Facebook and Meta's billion user app economies, whether it be Instagram, WhatsApp. Since we've kind of become independent and grown as a network and an ecosystem, we've done a few things really well, and I'll talk a little bit about what those are and where we're going. Number one is institutional adoption. If you're following the Web3 industry today, you see that mainstream institutions, whether they be banks, VCs, payment companies, commerce companies, they're all embracing blockchain as a core technology to power their billions of users and millions of business customers. And already, even in the short lifespan of Aptos, we've built the trust from deep institutions like BlackRock and Franklin Templeton, because what they care about is technology that never fails, that is highly secure, built by a team that has the pedigree to manage the blockchain. Now, a bit about where we're going. Since I stepped into the ecosystem role earlier this year, Luke and I and the rest of the team got together and said, what do we want the ecosystem to look like moving forward? What does it even mean to have a healthy ecosystem? And where we are focused on right now is really around unlocking the full capabilities of decentralized finance. This is the backbone of any ecosystem. So how does money move across the blockchain? Does it move reliably? Is there lots of liquidity? Are there amazing projects and founders and protocols that are growing in revenue and going to TGE? And so that's really been our focus earlier this year till now. Where we want to see the ecosystem grow is to really be a diverse collection of artists, founders, and projects all working together to grow their user base and grow their revenue and really build loyal customer love. Specifically with NFT projects, but more so creators, what I notice and why I'm so interested and excited about this partnership is that creators are really the biggest signal in any ecosystem for any project or any partner coming to enter it of the most loyal groups of fans. If you are part of an NFT project and you've been there all along, you are loyal to that brand, that customer, you will never leave. These are the precise users that whether you be a big institution or a startup founder building a new DeFi protocol that you want to directly reach. So we're very excited about having MofuMofu as a flagship brand and creative IP within Aptos that can serve as that beacon of saying these are the most loyal, diehard fans within the industry and really helping to grow alongside each other.
So first part was very insightful, and I think a lot of it is in the space. Appreciate how Aptos has always taken a high conviction here, right? Instead of like chasing short-term hype. I mean, you guys have been shipping consistently, doing it more quietly with quality, right? On the second part, right, want to pivot a little bit into culture, right? One thing that really stood out to me personally is your background. You came from Metaplex, right? Which played a very huge role in shaping the NFT narrative on Solana back then, right? So naturally, just curious about your take, since we've moved with today, on what NFTs means in your opinion in today's market, right? And specifically, do you see a meaningful place for art, culture, and IP like Mofu itself on Aptos?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So I joined Metaplex after 7.5 years at YouTube, trying to help musicians pioneer the creator economy because they were behind different types of creators. And my whole job there was to make sure that they're embracing the new direct to fan distribution model. And YouTube was the leader in the space. So I spent 7.5 years there. But I was also monitoring what's happening within the creator economy around 2020 and 2021. And the ETH NFT boom was happening. And I was looking there and I said, wow, there's a whole new creator class that YouTube does not have and currently cannot serve that is existing without any help of a major platform. And they are creating collections. They're driving hyper growth communities and highly convicted communities. I want to explore more. Now, meanwhile, for me, I worked at YouTube for 7.5 years and before that Spotify. So 2 products that I used every day, I was lucky enough to work for and go drive the mission for. But when I went and tried to purchase an NFT, within ETH, it was too painful. I was like, whoa, I can't spend this much money, 1. Number 2, I can't spend this much on gas fees. And number 3, why is this lagging? Why isn't it instantaneous when I click a transaction? And so I was exploring on MetaMask and OpenSea. And one day my friend sent me a Phantom wallet and said, hey, you should actually look at NFTs on Solana. And so I immediately started exploring Magic Eden and seeing all of the amazing art that was being generated, and also a little bit lower stakes at the time. people were just creating art for fun on Solana, right? It wasn't highly financialized. It wasn't highly manipulable. It was just people making great art and putting it into the world to see what works. But what really struck me was the user experience of purchasing an NFT within Solana. And that was something I was used to from my 7.5 years at YouTube and 4 years at Spotify, which was product user experience needs to be excellent for this space to grow. And so I was lucky enough, as fate would have it, to get an opportunity to lead business at Metaplex, which spun out of Solana Labs. And at Metaplex, you know, what its core technology was the NFT infrastructure for the Solana ecosystem. So how an NFT is defined, how it's created, how it's transferred, what are all the composable characteristics an NFT can have, what is the data, where does that go, how can it be used? And at the time, PFPs were the biggest use case. And I got to learn about NFTs as a technology, but also as a use case and how it could help build brands. As a technology, NFTs I see as a building principle to how you can establish an identity online and purely online. If you think about when Facebook started or many of the other social media platforms, your identity was actually linked to your bio, where you live, where you went to college, right? This framework was actually out of date in terms of where digital economy and digital connection was going. And so you saw NFTs as this mechanism for people to say, hey, this is my identity, irregardless of who I am in the real world. There were several, I think, false starts with the metaverse and going too far in that direction. But I think NFTs as a core technology and use case, I think was the best signal of what an online identity can look like and what a networked identity that is purely based on your online nature can look like. So then with PFPs, we obviously, that was the majority of our business and majority of our customer base of creators wanting launch PFPs. And I saw a lot of ways people won and ways people missed. And the ways people won was people who understood that building a brand in Web3 is having good principles on what you want your brand and community to look like or feel like, but also having the willingness to be open to let the community decide and self-organize on where they want to take the brand further. I saw that, and it was a completely different template for brand building, story making, that I think the traditional media had even explored. Where I saw people fail, and traditionally this was people who didn't spend enough time in Web3, who didn't really understand the culture, who didn't even understand the language people talk to, right, with each other in Web3. Maybe even their timelines weren't even synchronized to what was happening in Web3. Come in and say, this is a top-down brand, this is how we're going to do it, and that's it, and you buy it, and that's it. You don't really leave room for community there. That doesn't work in Web3, right? And so it was an amazing experience. We worked with folks like Magic Eden. We were even working with Meta because they wanted to mint NFTs on Instagram directly on Solana blockchain. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but it was a big project. And we worked with every single dApp and protocol within the Solana ecosystem as the center infrastructure provider. So I'm super bullish on NFTs and technology and seeing where the use cases keep going.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So basically, just beyond just the collectibles itself as NFT, right? I mean, it resonates a lot. It involves what identity, reputation. It's basically your community anchors, right? But yeah, MofuMofu is one of the most exciting example here, right? Of the culturally rooted, high quality IPs entering Web3 space, just using NFT to carve it for everything, right? But we touch on NFT now. Why Aptos, right? Ash, there's so many chains right now, all offering speed, offering incentives or narratives, right? What makes Aptos the chain that teams would, or should choose today?
It's a very good question. I think in our industry, technology or great technology yet isn't enough of a differentiating factor because we haven't seen the usage of Web2 scale fully adopted yet. But when that scale comes, and it will come soon in the next 2 to 3 years, maybe sooner, they will need technology that never breaks, that is the fastest, that is the most secure. And Aptos was built with that foundation in mind because, again, it was built at Meta. It needed to serve that Web2 scale. There was no room for error. So the good news is when that time comes, we'll be prepared. Now, the question is, what do we do in the meantime? And how do we differentiate ourselves? And I put it as simply as there are many blockchains in the world for one reason or another. Each of them are building a narrative in terms of what they're focused on. And why that's important is because it highly aligns the foundation and the ecosystem participants on a mission, and they can grow together in an accelerated way. And our mission is to quite simply become the global trading engine. Now, when I say trading, sometimes people think, oh, finance and things like that. But I'm talking about any asset or any artifact that has any sort of value, finding a market and building communities around it. It could be a product, it could be art, it could be whatever. We believe that's our singular focus. And so everything we do, every partner we talk to is in service of building up that ecosystem mapping. Specifically with creators, I believe art is the apex asset that once you make money or once you've been in the space a long time, there's nowhere left to go except collect art. I mean, I lived in New York since I was 18. You know, I'm from a small village in Kentucky in America, and I moved to New York when I was 18. And you know, when you're not living in kind of a mainstream city in New York, you kind of think, oh, I need to be a doctor, I need to be a lawyer, I need to be, you know, these professional jobs. But I got to New York at 18 and I lived downtown in the East Village. And I met all of these kids who had a very accumulated taste of art and fashion and music. And it wasn't just a hobby, it was actually a business. It was a way in which they connected with clubs, they met designers, they sold their art. And you know, when they sold their art, when they had their art showings, who would come? Hedge fund managers, actors, all of these people who have access to everything. They literally don't need anything else. But you know what they want? They want to compete for the best art. So it is always, in my opinion, the end point to how people want to represent themselves. I'm not saying art always needs to be expensive, but I'm just giving an example. If you have everything, what else do you want? You want art. And so I think that this is a core feature of the global trading engine, and which is why we're so excited to work with such a highly acclaimed and prestigious brand.
Dope. So basically, you know, from what I know is that most chains are either too academic or too chaotic. So you're saying like Aptos is like a combination of, you know, performance, strong dev support, and a chain that actually can, you know, be optimized for Gen Z retails, for instance, right? But yeah, you actually talked about the global trading engine as well. We've been hearing this phrase a lot lately, right? Global trading engine. What's that? Like, can you break down what that means for you and how builders and founders can or should align with the vision when building on Aptos?
Yeah, so the way I kind of break it down is any asset can be traded. That could be a token, it could be an NFT, it could be an equity, it could be, you know, gold, it could be any asset that has any discernible value in the world can be traded on Aptos with sub-second finality and highly secure smart contracts with Move. So that's just plainly what I mean in terms of the global trading engine. The building blocks of that is to quite simply have the products in place to allow people to do interesting things. So if you want to trade long tail assets or even NFTs, having the right marketplace or decentralized exchanges. If you want to just earn some simple money on a low risk, or if you want to take more risk and earn higher yields, having really established money markets in place, and then also perpetual futures, being able to trade things that are highly liquid with a lot of risk appetite, I think is the future. Around that, though, when you think about when these products want to bootstrap their growth, they are going to be searching for the most highly networked and densely passionate communities to go work with directly. So what does that mean, right? When they want to go to market on Aptos, they're going to talk with 3 collections and they're going to say, how do we be a part of your community? But also, how do we reward you for helping us bootstrap our growth, right? And so what happens is essentially these communities not only become places for people to spend time together and reflect on who each others are based on what they own or what they've collected or what their narrative is around what they own, is it becomes a commercial entity that being part of this community taps me into the global trading engine economy, and I'm never going to leave, right? I'm going to keep pushing the IP and the brand forward. And this is me, this is who I am. So that's roughly how we think. I think one thing that is also additive to that global trading engine is payments. So if you want to participate in the digital economy, whether it be trading or otherwise, what do you need to do? You have money in the real world and you need to get money in the digital world. And then when you make money in the digital world, sometimes you need to take money out to put it in the real world, to pay your rent, to pay whatever, your roommate or whatever. And so Aptos as a network is really focused on stablecoin adoption and how that actually moves across different users. Even in the few short months that we've been live with the major stables, we've hit 30 billion in volume in stables alone. That is a crazy metric. It's even exceeding our level of growth. And we're very excited for big brands and big e-commerce merchants to start adopting Aptos stables as well. And that could be a creator, a brand, you know, an e-commerce giant. It could be anyone, but we want to make that all very seamless.
Oh, awesome. So to sum it up, this concept's kind of different. So it's just not about finance. It's about also creating permissionless value exchange across all kind of verticals, right? Assets, culture, gaming, identity, and so on, right? So I like how you frame it as a coordinated eco vision, right? Where every team on Aptos can build to it something bigger than themselves without losing that individuality, right? Love it. And last question for you, Ash. So we have like around 150 KOLs, builders, founders from everywhere in Web3 watching you right now. So what's one thing that you like them to carry back to the audience after this AMA about Aptos?
The one thing that I will say is we are a very first principled company. We do things the right way. We've been in market for 3 years. We've never failed. And the next 3 to 5 to 10 years, we're going to be here pushing hard. And what I want to say about that future view is I get to see this, Luke gets to see this, but folks at the Aptos Foundation generally get to see this. There are people in the world who believe that blockchain is going to underpin the new financial world. And they have a very long view, right, of where this industry will go. They can only think of 2 or maybe 3 blockchains that can meet it. And we're one of them. And we talk with them every day. And so that is what is very exciting. And so we think that we are completely future-proofed and we're hungry. We're hungry to grow. We are not how do I say, lazy. Maybe some of the older chains get lazy, right? You've been through multiple cycles, you know, you've gone through the battle scars, whatever. But for us, we are all in a mindset for growth, bottom line. So that's what I would want to say.
Awesome. Not trying to throw shades here, yeah. But yeah, you heard it, folks. To all the creators, KOLs, founders, whatever community builders in the room, I think this is your moment to not just look for trends, but also shape them. You heard from Ash today that Aptos is just not another chain with good tech. It's also a platform for meaningful long-term innovation in Web3, whether that's a cultural IP, whether it's DeFi or infra, whatsoever, right? And yeah, happy to have you here, Ash. We'd like to go over to Zhen. She's been waiting for a long time now. Can't wait to jump into the main character today. Once again, thank you, Ash, for your time. And yeah, to you, Zhen. Let's do a quick intro of Mofu.
Sure. Of course. So MofuMofu Music Caravan is a Web3 native IP. We centered on music, freedom, and the community. And just as Ash mentioned that Aptos built it for more than 3 years. And MofuMofu is backed by Toho. And Toho is a company, leading entertainment company that we've already been for 93 years in Japan. Like really being the principal company, I'll say, listed in Japan, as well as we are always building like new trend IP, not just in cinema, but also we're doing many other like tries, such as like when we build MofuMofu, there many people come to us saying, why don't bring Godzilla or just Kaisen into Web3? This is something that we actually gonna use MofuMofu to show that how we think about Web3. And we're gonna use Mofu not just like representing the story. Mofu has a really decent story, and it also has like people see us that we have Genesis NFT already, and we're gonna do some more NFT related stuff. But Mofu is not going to stop from there. We are going to build Mofu as a both Web2 and Web3 IP. So which means Toho gonna use the Web2 resources to building Mofu together, while we have like strong partnership as Aptos gonna help us bring this IP deeply, not just the IP itself as a character, but also deeply the community, how we co-create the IP together as a new system with all these Web3 individuals. So we say Mofu gonna be a both Web2 and Web3 IP. So this scalable IP, we are thinking about to build it into anime, merchandise, live events, and many more. That's why we also link Mofu as a music IP. So we can already see that on the YouTube channel of Toho Animation, we already launched 2 of the music video of MofuMofu, and we're gonna launch many more music video. So we start from this animated music video to telling the story and also telling the possibility of the Mofu as an IP. We're gonna bring out live events. We're gonna bring out like more music producers, creators, animators working with us. So I think this is the rough introduction for Mofu for now. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. And I see Hayaki-san is here as well. We'd like to introduce him a little bit.
Yeah, Kayaki, 聞こえてます? Yeah, let me find him. So Kayaki, let me introduce a bit first. So Kayaki is the one who working in Toho from the beginning, and and he is the one who started MofuMofu as an IP. And here is like we also need this kind of like producers to in Toho using the Web2 resources, leveraging everything to help the IP building in a Web2 way, solid way, which means like although Mofu is quite a new IP, we already have merchandise and we have many potential plan on Mofu. So Kayaki will help us talk a bit on this part. Kayaki, 今聞こえてます?
はい、聞こえてます。
はい。で、今、かやきの紹介をしてましてて、まず、モフモフで、
ありがとうございます。
はい、担当してるのを、なんか具体的にまとめて教えていただけると。
モフモフの内容ということですかね。
なんていうか、かやきがモフで担当してること。モフがゼロからどうやってプロジェクトとして立ち上げたっていうことも。
はい。モフモフミュージックキャラバンはもともと一人の天才的なアニメーターと一緒にキャラクターを開発したところから始まっています。で、ただそれを、コンテンツとして出してもなかなか 勝率は低いかなっていうところで、この新しい領域である Web3 っていうところを活用しながらファンコミュニティを作っていこうというところで、今回 NFT とか、そういったような取り組みを始めました。
Actually, the project start from the beginning with Kayaki, and one of the Genesis animator. We will see his work in the near future, and we already see many of the main visual of MofuMofu is drawing by our creator. So always like when we creating IP, it's always creator oriented, and also from the beginning, although the creator from an IP holder view, from Toho's view, it's like really genius, have like high potential. But also we're thinking in a new way that how we can send this new IP to the market is that we're thinking about like in this like 2024, 2025, we need some new method rather than before, like when we're doing Godzilla, it's always movies. So this time we want to build the IP together with Web3 fan communities. And this is the beginning of MofuMofu Music Caravan. And also what Kayaki did from the beginning.
Dope. That's awesome. It's awesome. Appreciate the intro here. I am more bullish than everyone else when I hear about the background of Mofu. It looked like Toho as well. But yeah, let's come down a little bit. You mentioned about the Genesis NFTs are already out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how has the response been so far? I believe it was from last year. But this year, we'll let you know when, you know, after you migrated to Aptos. What's the holder status like right now?
Sure. We launched a 500 NFT, Genesis NFT. That was a free mint on Ethereum. And now we bridge it to Aptos. And for like future moves, we actually have many alpha to tell in today's AMA. And for the Genesis holder, they were able to stake in the Genesis, and they got this MofuTama, which is a point for now. And for the near future, we're gonna start to activate the MofuTama, which is the point to not just redeem the merchandise, the event ticket for sure, and also for the next step, Web3 moves. So we're gonna go like deeper today about the Genesis part, and also there's a second collection that we are about to launch in the next step. So yeah.
Dope. And people has always wondering, like, you know, Genesis, it's always get tied with Mofu and Toho as well, right? But I believe like a lot of the people in the audience here might be unfamiliar. Like, could you introduce more on Toho and share, you know, some of their most iconic IPs so that, you know, it's easier for them to understand?
Oh, I will ask Kaiki to help me with this part, but I will like do my understanding first. Is like just introduce a little bit more about myself. What I was doing in Toho is like recently I was working on the Spirited Away, the stage. Like people know Toho as we have so many movie collections, movie masterpieces, including Ghibli Studio. Like all this movie is published by Toho. And for recent years, we have like anime series movies such as Your Name, Weathering with You, the series from Shinkai Makoto. Also like for IP part, like Doraemon, Pikachu, all this like really iconic IP. When they have movie, it's always published by Toho. So this is Toho as a movie publisher. We like no doubt the top one publisher in Japan, like all the iconic Japan IP. I mean, as a like Asian people myself, like all this Japanese culture, Japanese movie really deeply moved us like from childhood. That's also why I choose to work with Toho in like deep into the IP industry. And also not just a movie, but also animation part is really highlight of Toho's recent years work. So as we always saying, under Toho Animation, under the Toho Animation's production, we delivered works such as Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, Spy Family, and Haikyuu, and many others. They're actually, for these several years, we are sending like slightly gradually more than last year as the animation work. So for Jujutsu, this probably like one of the top, but also for the recent years really popular animation, I mean, maybe it's still just like popular locally or among otakus, but like really the decent work is every year we're sending, I feel like 3 to 4 works from Toho Animation, and they all like really have a high like recommend from everywhere, like especially in the animation part. And this is also why we starting to think about that we can bring out some more, not just IP from manga, but also IP from original script, and IP can start from one of the genius like animated creators. That's why we start MofuMofu. So yeah, I think this is pretty much what Toho do. Also, I would like to ask this question to Kayaki, what he recently is doing. で、Kayaki まだいます？聞こえてます？
はい、もうちょっとだけ。
これ、東宝で最近何してるのと、東宝でその世界で、有名な作品、さっき私もちょっといろいろ言ってたんですけど、もっと皆さん知ってる作品だけど、これ東宝作品なんだって知らないものとか教えてもらえると。
最近私はその、配信シリーズドラマだったり、ネットフリックスでやる配信シリーズドラマだったり、あとは映画とか、そういったことのコンテンツのプロデューサーをしています。
So Kayaki is recently working on a TV series between Toho and Netflix, and it's like coming soon. So we cannot tell more details about it. And also he's working on many movies stuffs. どうぞ。
そうですね。実は東宝のコンテンツっていうのはなかなか難しいですけど、最近ですとアカデミー賞を取ったゴジラマイナスワンだったり、あと直近だとカンヌに招待を受けた8番出口っていう映画だったり、最近かなりこの海外の映画祭でも、実績を出しているような作品がありますね。監督だとあと是枝監督とか、モンスターっていう映画の監督ですけど、そういった作品などなどがあると思います。
Yeah, so Kayaki helped me mention the Godzilla minus one. Like that's the one that we take the academy. And also there's like more movies coming from Toho that taking the academy show recently. So
That's dope. The back is stacked. I mean, no reason to hype it up when your track record already includes like icons like that, right? I mean, Toho is just beyond just a content company. It's also one of the core architects of modern pop culture in Asia, right? But yeah, to follow up, why, how did the partnership with, Mofu begin with Toho? Like, what convinced you to support this idea, Jin?
じゃあミュートですね。
ありがとうございます。
そしてごめんなさい。ちょっと僕が撮影があって抜けないといけないので、こちらで失礼いたします。ありがとうございました。
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I was mute. So this is like really a good question, Kai. This is about we've been working with Toho for years before Mofu started. So what we helping Toho is like really from the stage, as I mentioned, for example, The Spirited Away, and also many other like big IP project. When we're going overseas, they need some like help as a coordinator team. So that's why South Sweet joined. And Mofu is starting from as an IP, as an idea of Toho, and we bring it to we bring a proposal to Toho about how we build this IP. We can use this like blockchain, new technology that we can send out the IP. So sorry. Yeah, so it's starting from the anime storytelling, and we want to go further with the Web3 infrastructure. That's how we start this project.
Awesome. And as a Toho IP project, right? Why Aptos? Like, can you share a little bit on the reasoning or strategic considerations, like behind this collab?
Yeah. So as we can already tell that Ash has already said a lot of things for us here, and why we choose Aptos is really based on, first, it's based on Aptos technology. So people all know that when Toho bring IP into Web3, it's like more, we say Web2 user oriented. We're thinking through like Web2 users idea to begin. So that's why when we have the first animator, we got the chance to start the IP as a project. But for the next step, we really need to bring the IP, get down to the Web3 community. What we say here is Mofu, why we don't bring like really solid IP into Web3? There's many, I would say, physical reasons, but also on the other side, it's more about only when we can co-build the IP together in a Web3 way, the IP can belong to everyone that we build together. This is the concept that behind Mofu. And this is the thing that for the solid IP, there are already so many producers, so many, IP holders that are holding different rights. When you gonna use specific rights of the IP, you always need to ask different parties, and they have different opinions. That's why the solid IP in Web2 is really hard to jump into a new industry using a new technology. And when I telling people that we building IP in Web3, people like usually come to us like, if you don't bring solid IP, if you don't bring major IP, it doesn't gonna work. But actually, my opinion is opposite. It's like only when big IP holder bring in new project into Web3, this finally gonna work. And this also based on the deeper understanding upon Aptos and between the whole project. So why we choose Aptos is first is about the reliable infrastructure and the scalability. So Aptos is really ideal for us as a long-term IP development. Beyond NFT, we're not just doing NFT. What we want to build is really a co-creation IP. People can share the value of the IP. The ownership is something that we are really looking into. So this is the part that Aptos Foundation really provide us the hands-on support, and really thanks for the technical guidance. And also we need this kind of like thinking, we say brainstorming with Aptos, saying there's no Web2 IP, Web2 IP holder from Japan really take this success in Web3. And also the Web3 IP, although there are already many that we can name it, but they also didn't achieve any success in Web2. So this is the time that we find the right partner that we want to build an IP which gonna be popular in both Web3 and Web2.
Awesome. That's a very good, valuable, context and insights. Thank you for that. Basically, what we're seeing here is just not an experiment, right? It's a part of the structured evolution of your IP business for Toho, right? It isn't just Web3 for the sake of Web3. You're using Web3 as a real expansion model here. And speaking of that, right? Let's talk a little bit more on the strategy part, GTM part, on what kind of fans and holders are you hoping to attract in Web3? And how do you plan to build and sustain this kind of community?
Yeah, so this is also the basic, I would say, theory that how we building IP. It's like when you see a really popular IP, for example, Chikawa, Labubu, like they already have a solid fan community, and this is not built in one day. So what we want to attract here is also we want basically anime music lovers. So we're not saying this is like Web2 fans. It's more about people from Web3 who's also overlapped with the anime and music lovers. For example, I feel like Luke and Ash is also this kind of Web3 users. And also we are looking for those creative Web3 users. For example, there's creators, people who doing fan art, or the quality is more than fan art. This kind of user, we're very welcome them to join at the early stage to help us shape the IP. For Mofu, we already can see there's so many fan art. There's so many UGC on Twitter, in Discord, and we are very happy to see more of this. also, of course, fans from Web2. That's why we invite the voice actor Shimazaki Nobunaga and others to join this project. Also, the music producer of the first 3 songs, Hyadain, he's like one of the most famous music producer from Japan. So fans of them, they're gonna love the character their favorite voice actor acts. People will know Mofu from there. So we also make entrance for Mofu from Web2 for those, I would say, anime lovers who watch a lot of the animation, or like we say, purchase a lot of the merchandise. Those fan from Web2 is also someone we are targeting for now. Also, that's why we already building many merchandise with our vendors. So for the last but not least is the KOL audience, that people are here listening to our like closed long-term things about Mofu and how we're gonna build it. We also very like grateful that people are looking into Mofu, and we also would like to invite more KOLs to join the Mofu community to help us shape the IP. I feel like there's many, I would say, friends or others like sending me that they're on different channels. People have this project that saying you gonna own the ownership of the animated characters or things. But I feel like if you own a character which have no value, or no one who's professional in building IP is building it, then the ownership means there's no value behind that. But what we trying to explain is that behind Mofu, there's so many professional IP builders. So when we say we're gonna share the ownership, we actually mean it. So this is also the message that I really love to leave to the KOL audience today, to asking everyone to join us.
Awesome. I love it. It's simple, right? Let me just summarize a little bit. You're trying to say that, hey, building a Web3 community is just, something that it's not too fun, but you're trying to have the Web3 native energy meets Web2 level of like storytelling. That's kind of like a hybrid approach of the community that you want, right? Which is a lot of the NFT projects struggle to grow beyond, these Oh no. Well, I guess we gotta use StreamYard next time, Tiger. You muted. Asian. So
Hello.
sorry about that. Google Meets. It's pretty shit. We should switch to another platform.
So are we able to get back to the live stream?
Yep.
Sure.
No, yeah. Tiger will set this up. Awesome. Jin. We're just talking about the community thing, right?
Yeah.
Like a hybrid approach, which a lot of NFT people are struggling to do that. Which I think you guys are doing a pretty great job at this. And yeah, I guess the next question here, back to Tall a little bit. Kayaki-san is not here, but maybe you help him to answer this. You're known for, Toho is known for like multi-format IP, right? So is there any plan to expand MoFu into anime, manga, music, or more? I saw that in the trailer. I think that gives out most of the idea here, but yeah, wanna hear more from the founder itself.
Yes. We have this plan from the beginning. So it's not just because we are launching like second collection or we launched the Genesis NFT. Like when we launched the Genesis, we were doing free mint. So there's many holders in Discord talking about like, is that like if we don't raise a fund, MoFu is gonna continue. Because MoFu is really an IP planned by Toho in the, I would say, Web 2 way, not just a Web 3, but also Web 2. That means that's why we launched the first music video on Toho Animation, which is a channel that under more than 3 million followers, I'm pretty sure. And we launched the music video there, and the quality from first one to second one, and actually this is the alpha. We're gonna have the third one soon. A month, like about next month or not latest by next month. So the third animation music video, you're gonna see it. We actually have already the quality is pretty high. We're gonna have a higher quality of the animation. So this is gonna happen not just for these 3 songs, not just for this 3 music video, but also this is gonna happen for the roadmap of MoFu as the IP itself. So the quality of the content, the quality of the animation will get higher and higher until we're gonna deliver anime, also stage, and many other things we are thinking about. For Toho, like a bit more introduction. We not just doing movie, we also do anime, and also we do stage and musical. Toho Theater has been quite famous for like years, like probably similar to Toho itself. So we are really deep into MoFu as an IP. We're thinking about many different production that we can deliver MoFu and let more Web2 users get chance to know this. And also when we co-build the IP, it's not just the production that Toho can do, and also the we say the owner of NFT. When you have the ownership, you're part of the member of MoFu, we're gonna build some production together. So when you're holding the NFT, we say it's more like you become a potential producer of MoFu rather than just being a consumer. Stay with us. So this is the basic idea that we hear and having the roadmap with Toho for MofuMofu.
It's awesome. Like, I can see a lot of the resources and potential from your backends itself. Like, but the next big question is probably like, how many of these things going to be included in the next collection here? Like, why should people join the pre-sale? What can they expect in this in a short and long term?
Yeah, this is really good question. So we have a roadmap, right? So the phase 1 is Genesis, and the phase 2 is the PFP Mint. This is really some like news we're telling here closely, but the new Mint and the campaign, we're thinking about like we gonna start to introduce the characters of the story. So for now, so far, people only seeing the music video can know the main characters, but main character is not the only concept of a co-create IP. What we're doing here is we say spreading the ownership, which means there are gonna be so many characters with the ownership, and you're gonna hold the ownership of your character, who is also live in the Mofu world. So this is a basic idea of the PFP. Of course, we want use these collections to make people to recognize Mofu as a whole, as a new IP, rather than because our last Genesis NFT was a radio, right? So we want to tell people to know more about our story, and also for our holders. Here's the thing that we want share the ownership. We want ask everyone to join us to co-build the IP and share the value of the IP together with us. So that's why the second collection is really gonna be a huge thing. Genesis collection, I would say, because we did the free mint, it's more like we're starting to let people know about us. And for the second collection is really something that we put emphasis on, and we're gonna like play a lot with the Web3 things, and we're gonna have not just mint, and we'll mention later referral campaign. So we really want to work out this with all the KOL audience here, and we want bring more like say Web3 native users to co-create the IP with us.
Dope. And where do you plan to promote? I know a lot of the projects promote usually online, but I heard you're planning, offline events across Japan and Asia as well. Like, tell me a little bit on the plan for the next week or two.
Sure. As Mofu is IP from Asia, and we think we're gonna be IP representing Asia, so we start the offline event not just in Japan but also Asia in Korean for now. That we already have a solid plan, and also overseas we gonna like release more infos in the near future. So why we building these offline events is because we want to create a new word identity and also emotional attachment to the IP. So far people probably watch Mofu as a music video on Toho Animation channel, but later it's like we're gonna bring the IP offline to everyone who's interested in the IP, in the story, also into the creator production team about the IP. Like after being working in the IP industry myself for this 5-6 years, I feel like a good IP, a IP with high potential, actually you know it before it really become popular. And the reason why you know it, because you got this chance. I work in the industry, so I get this chance to know who's the producer, who's the director, who's the, all the creator team that are working together for this IP. As long as you get to know the people behind the IP, you actually already know the high potential of the IP. So this is also our aim to bring this offline event experience to Japan and Korea. And so if there's many KOLs here listening from Japan or Korea or other part of the world, just let us know. We really want to bring this offline event to your city, to your country, to let us to like do some merchandise drops. So you're gonna really touch the merchandise rather than hearing that Toho also product some merchandise. You're gonna see the quality of our merchants, I would say, compete to other Web3 IP. Like no offense, but merchandise we have already built for more than 50 years. But for Web3, this can be really fresh stuff, new stuff. So I will show like this is actually a big difference between not just the quality, but also the thinking behind the merchandise, behind the IP. So we really want to share this kind of, I would say, knowledge or like thinking about thinking behind the IP. Also share the music, share the cultural collaborates, and we are very happy to see everyone in like Japan and Korea. I'm looking forward to see everyone.
Awesome. Love to, I mean, the in real life layer cannot be, ignored, right? It's like something about blending digital fandom with physical presence. That's why hence the merge and then so on, right? Especially in places like Japan and the rest of the Southeast Asia, where community really thrives offline events too. So yeah, pretty good to know. And finally, last question for you, Jin. Like, do you see Mofu evolving into a full recognized IP franchise? And you mentioned about making merchandises, but how about spin-offs like animation, more music, or other formats as well?
Yes. It's not, as I mentioned, it's not just from Toho's view, or we say from like what Aptos is looking forward to see. This is more like something will eventually happen in Web3 IP. I believe it, and I think everyone here listening this AMA also believe it. So anime and music will finally get this overlap beautifully with NFT, with the Web3 itself. And we are here to build it. And the reason why we can build it is that we are backed by like Toho, the major IP holder. So what we're gonna do for the next step is we're gonna really bring on more resources from Web2 side, from Toho side, to including like qualified vendors to not just doing merchandise. It's just a small example, but this is also something has never happened in Web3 IP. It's like we need qualified, like nice, good vendors doing the merchandise. Also for animation, for musicals, for offline event, for concert. So everything is the experience has already, you see it in Web2 world, it's happening every day, but the revenue share is something like really not transparent. And also for individuals, you're willing to invest in some things that related to anime or music, there's always no chance for it. And to be honest, it's not just for individuals, for really overseas big corporates, also there is like really lack of chances that you have the chance to invest into decent anime IP. So people don't really know how to share the right of IP. When we're talking about IP, it's not just a character, it's a business. So this is the thing that we gonna like involve more Toho resources, and also we're gonna build with Aptos that provide everything to be transparent, so all the individual, all the holders get this chance to understand how's going on the revenue share of IP business, rather than just a character like randomly drawn by some character creators. So for the animation, for the musical, for the further contribution of Mofu as an IP, also we're gonna revolve more stories like behind the scene, so people got able to know where's the chance to invest, where's the chance that you understand everything, understand the value, where the value come from, and you get the chance to really do the revenue share. So this is the future that I foresee, that like this gonna eventually happen starting from Mofu, and this will be a I would say a ecosystem, a system that really gonna happen in the future with under the combination of Web3 technology with the Web2 IP.
Dope, love it. And I think that sums it up to everyone who's hyped now whatever they do online and offline. I guess Mofu is shaping up to be one of the those rare IPs that bridge storytelling, culture, and tech in truly collaborative way, right? And with Toho's as background and with Aptos as background in the picture, I guess it's not just your normal Web3 project. It's like a blueprint on how Web2 and Web3 can actually build together. So yeah, appreciate the time, and I guess looking forward to the second collection here. For the chaos watching, we'll have a recap soon. And for more information on the second collection itself, do contact our team. We'll get back to you ASAP, and more deals and more deals coming in your way. And yeah, I guess that's all for today. Appreciate everyone's coming. Appreciate the guests here. Appreciate Eugen and Tiger behind the scenes hosting the stream. I guess I'll see you guys again. Bye bye, Jen. Bye everyone.
Bye bye. See ya. Thank you.